Good evening, FlossTube. My name is Ruth, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Spectrum Farms Needleworks. Today is Saturday, April 9th, 2024, and this is my second FlossTube. If you've stumbled across my channel and you're wondering where's my first FlossTube, there's a little story behind that. So I recorded my first FlossTube on August 24th, 2023. It was my birthday. My husband was out of town. The house was quiet. I was feeling inspired as a new stitcher, and I wanted to really be part of the community. And I recorded my first FlossTube multiple times. I had finally settled on a recording that I liked, so I posted it, and about 9 to 11 people saw it when I panicked and took it down. But during that time, I had applied for StitchCon for this year, and I didn't get in. I ended up on the wait list. And then about a month ago, I was notified that I was in for weekend A. Very excited. But I didn't realize that I had not notified keepsakes that I had taken down my FlossTube. And a couple nights ago, I got a message on Instagram from Stephanie from Just Keep Stitching, who I would like to personally, here this evening in my messy sewing room, apologize, because I created some extra work for Stephanie and now I owe her dinner. She contacted me and said, hey, I can't find your FlossTube, and I was mortified because I had taken it down and I had forgot to let her know. So Stephanie, I greatly apologize, but I am so excited that it did not disqualify me from coming to StitchCon in June for weekend A, and I'm really excited to be there for the first time. So with that said, as I said, my first FlossTube was recorded on my birthday, so I'd like to today say happy birthday to Tara Sullivan of Sully Stitches and to Annie Turner from The Proper Stitcher. So go check out their FlossTubes and wish them a happy birthday as well. So as I said, I'm a newer stitcher. I'm a long-time quilter. And this past year of being a dedicated stitcher, I have gone so far down the rabbit hole. I have so much haul that I'm not going to go over tonight. But I would like to share a few things with you that I've incorporated into my stitching, things that I have stitched, and where I'm at as of today. So one of the things that I have incorporated into my stitching is this cross-stitch journal. I know many of you use it, but one of the things that I also use with it is there's a camera, and it is, I apologize for the zipper, it's the Sprocket, the HP Sprocket, and I have this little case, and it comes with 2x3 paper. And you can buy this pack I bought separately because I had already used up all the paper that came with it. So it helps me keep track of my stitching. So for example, my very first piece that I stitched was from the Just Cross Stitch magazine from January, February 2013. It was my beginning project that was assigned to me by a very dear friend and mentor. Her name is Anne. And I had asked her to help me, if she would help me get into stitching. And thankfully she said yes. So she thought this would be a great piece for me to start with. Now, I have the magazine, but I don't know where I've put it. But the title of the pattern is Family, Friends, and Faith Forever. And it has words around it, but I didn't stitch the words. So this was stitched on Zweigart, but I don't know the stitch count because the linen was given to me. And we used DMC 3750. And this is what it looks like. I finished it in a flat fold. I added a little charm. And I followed Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorial. And there's some ribbon. And I think it's just beautiful. So that is Family, Friends, and Faith Forever. The pattern designer was Sandra Sullivan of Homespun Elegance. And I stitched this in January 2023. And I finished it in January 2023. So it's beautiful. Love it. So bear with me just a second. So some of the stitching that I have finished, I don't have because they were gifts. So for example, I went way down the hands-on design rabbit hole. I absolutely love hands-on design. And something I had stitched and completed was a gift for one of my sisters for their 60th birthday. And this is You Had Me at Flamingo. And it was stitched on Zweigart white Belfast linen 32 count. And I fully finished it into a tote bag. And I want to thank Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She introduced me, she doesn't know it, but she did, to Minky Kim. So what I did was, here's a photo of it. My sister has it. And this camera kind of prints a little darker, but it's a bright orange. And I finished it into a tote bag. So the base of the tote bag is a Minky Kim design. But I changed the handles. I added the front pocket to feature the stitching. And along with that, another hand design piece that I accompanied with it for my sister is called Petals and Plumes. Also stitched on the same Zweigart white Belfast linen. But I did this pincushion. And that pincushion was featured, make sure I have the right magazine, in the Better Homes and Gardens issue number 180. It's from February of 2023. It looks like this. You might be able to find back issues online. But so here is my PDF download of the You Had Me at Flamingo. But here is Petals and Plumes. Petals and Plumes. I don't know if that's showing backwards for you or not. If it is, I apologize. Great fun project. So you might still be able to find the magazine online for a back issue. And then one thing I'm going to be stitching is in this magazine, Quilts and More. And this is from the January, well, it says display until January 20th, 2023. But there's also, excuse me, a hands-on design piece in here called A Stitch in Time. And it looks like it's a mattress pin cushion. So I have purchased all the materials to make that. But across from it, on the other page, it shows Petals and Plumes. So again, that was the Better Homes and Gardens Quilts and More. 'Tis the Season issue, if you want to find that. So you can stitch that. So another piece that I stitched, and I don't have, well, I can't show you the pattern because it was on a piece of paper. And it's a band sampler. Bear with me so I can find the name. All right, I'll come back to it. Okay, well, this is what it looks like. And this was my first attempt at doing my name over one, but you can see I got the year much larger than my name. So that was the first band sampler that I've done. And one thing that was shared with me last year was to put the name of the linen, to write it directly on your linen. So for example, here's a project bag that I made. I'm working on snooty parrots. But if you write in the selvage, so for example, I wrote 40 count platinum Zweigart. I bought this at Hobby House and I started this in September 2023. So there's a little tip. And I did share that in my first FlossTube. But I wanted to tell you about this band sampler, but I cannot find the name. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll have to tell you about that another time. But that was stitched on 36 count Lakeside Straw Flower. Okay, one other thing that I stitched that I don't have here because it's actually on my desk at work is Coffee First by Brenda Gervais from With Thy Needle and Thread. And this little guy challenged me so much. I ripped this out. I frogged it 4 times, completely 4 times. And you can see where I still messed up with my spacing. So what I did was I just added a cat. And that is actually on my desk at work. So I am a member of the Delaware Valley Historic Sampler Guild, and our designer of the year this year is Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So I'm going to share some of those with you tonight that I'm working on. I'm not going to show you all of my haul because it is way too much. One other thing I did was, so the tote bag that I made for my sister, I made an even larger one for me, and it was fully finished into a huge tote bag. And if you went to the Woodlawn Needlework Show in Alexandria, Virginia, it was actually there. I had entered it. On the front pocket, I have lesson 1 of the Summer Schoolhouse Lessons in Abecedarian by Brenda Gervais, and so here's a picture of it. And the reason why I don't have it is currently at the Fiber Arts Center of the Eastern Shore in Denton, Maryland. It has a quilt inside of it. As I said, I'm a longtime quilter, and they are doing a member exhibit in May. I believe it's May 1st through July. I apologize, I don't have my notes. Through July. And the quilt that I have that they'll be showing is the block. It was a TQS block of the month from 2021. It was an Australian designer, Wendy Williams. So I don't have that quilt with me because it's there at the Fiber Arts Center, but this is what it looks like. And this is the quilt that I made that is inside of the tote bag at the Fiber Arts Center. And one thing I added to this quilt was the girl walking and a dog in honor of my Great Danes. I have 5 special needs Great Danes. I should say we. I am married. We have 5 special needs Great Danes, and they're just so much fun. So that was not part of the original pattern. I added that. This quilt features my very first Mariner's Compass in the middle. Very first time I had to attach roads as a complete circle. And then some of the houses were made in honor of homes that I've lived in. So, for example, this really colorful one over here, well, you probably can't see it. It's got the green roof. It's got oranges all over it from when I lived in Florida. So I invite you to go to the Fiber Arts Center of the Eastern Shore in Denton, Maryland in May, beginning in May, and you can see my quilt. I don't know if they'll show my tote bag, but it is there because the quilt's with it. Okay. Oh, and I found the name of the... Okay, let me back up. So this is called Spring Bands. It was by Eileen Gurak, a Hand Blessings design. So I found the name. Okay, one other thing that I stitched that I don't have because it was a gift is a Primitive Mood Keep by Plum Street Samplers. And I finished it into my very first drum and my very first strawberry. And this pattern actually charts with darker floss, but I changed the floss colors. And this was my gift for our Delaware Valley Historic Sampler Guild holiday exchange. So one of the things as a longtime quilter is I have quilt books that something that I didn't pay attention to is they also have cross stitch in them. So for example, this book right here, Country Inn by Blackbird Designs, I bought for the quilts. But inside this on page 79 is Little Red Hen. This absolutely gorgeous sampler. So I am stitching that. I changed the floss to cherry bark. Here's where I'm at. Let me grab, I thought I had a board I can put behind this so I can, let's see if the magazine will work. Here's where I'm at. So in another magazine, That is, no, it's in this one. I apologize. Let me grab it. For Christmas, I made 2 different lavender sachets, and they're in this same magazine. Toward the back. I think they're in here. I may be wrong. Maybe another one. But anyway, my point in showing you this is I had this book on my shelf for a very long time because it's a quilting book. And then I was so surprised to find this gorgeous, gorgeous sampler that I've been working on. So when you're looking at books and you don't think it may be something that you might be interested in, really flip through it because there might be a hidden gem inside. Okay. So that was called Little Red Hen, and I'm stitching that on 36 count weeks parchment. Okay. So something else that I've stitched, and this is the chart, and I'm not going to take it out of the bag, but it's Strawberry Hill Sampler, Brenda Gervais, with the needle and thread. And what I did with that was, our guild recently worked on creating, like everybody else has, the jewelry box stitching case. Now for mine, I didn't change much other than adding a magnet to the bottom and the fabric. But what I did for the top is I stitched the sampler. I added some cording to give it a nice finished edge. And then, so here's the front. And it looks like when you open it, like it's upside down. But when you open it, it's actually right side up. So as I stitch, and I have this on my table if I'm at a retreat, the people across from me will see the lovely sampler instead of seeing it upside down. So I'm really proud of that. So that was Strawberry Hill Sampler with the needle and thread. Okay. So this one is not Brenda Gervais, but it's one that I have recently finished, but not fully finished. Last year, our designer, oh, it was Paulette Stewart. This isn't Paulette Stewart either. So this is Pin Feathers by Brenda Gervais. I'm wrong. It is by Brenda Gervais. And I finished it. I haven't decided how I'm going to fully finish it. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to know. I mean, it's supposed to be a little pin keep, and it would be adorable. But I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to flat fold it, if I'm going to frame it. And that was stitched on Weeks Linen 40 count. There's Pin Feathers. Okay. And my next one that I stitched by Brenda Gervais is called Autumn Splendor. And I almost didn't stitch this because of the colors of the floss. Definitely looking at them, it was out of my comfort zone. These are the flosses. Very bright orange. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and do it anyway. And here's the board I was looking for. And this is my finish. Oh. I don't know if you can see that. And I haven't decided how I'm going to fully finish that either. So the next one that I'm working on is, I don't know if this is Blessed Bee or Blessed Bee by Brenda Gervais. I know a lot of you have stitched this, and I was working on it today, so it's in the Q-step. I usually stitch with a hoop, but I don't like the markings that it's leaving, so tonight I'm trying a Q-step, and this is my progress. and that's Blessed Bee. And that is on 36 count Summer Khaki Edinburgh. Something else I've started doing is, so for example, when I order my linen from 123 Stitch, I now stick the label right on here, and that helps. That's that one. And today, you may have seen on my Instagram is, my goodness, what is wrong with my brain today? My Instagram is, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I'm old. Of course, it's, oh my God. Okay, my Instagram is Spectrum Farms Needleworks. And the reason why I kept hesitating is because I actually have 3 Instagrams. I have one for, which is my regular, and that's just my name. It's actually Doc Yui. I have my doctorate in education. And that one's really for my family. None of them are really interested in my sewing or my stitching, so I don't post much on there. I have a second Instagram for my Great Danes, and I did have that one as public, but because they're special needs, I get concerned for their safety, so that one is private. But then I have my third for this, which is Spectrum Farms Needlework. So I apologize for the brain fart there for a minute. But if you saw on my Instagram today for Spectrum Farms Needleworks, I attended our Delaware Valley Historic Sampler Guild meeting this morning. But following the meeting, we had the opportunity to take a class with Jackie du Plessis from It's Finally Finished. And the class that I signed up for today was Cherry Berry, the Margaret Towns Sampler. And it looks like that. That's actually the sewing roll. That was this afternoon's class, and I did not participate in that. But, ooh, I apologize for the sound. I have a very, very small start on that. But I'm excited. There was a class that I took a couple weeks ago. It's probably about a month ago. We had a class at Salty Yarns in Berlin, Maryland, and it was with Catherine Theron, and it was her Hidden Magnolia sampler, and I have a picture of that also on my Spectrum Farms Needleworks Instagram, but I haven't started it. There are so many specialty stitches in that, I'm a little afraid of it. So I'm practicing my stitches, and then I hope to start on that very soon. So let's see. Oop, I apologize. I'm knocking things over. So earlier when I talked about hands-on design, one of the charts that I've purchased last year that I have not done yet is this one, 10 the Flock. So I'm excited about getting started with that. I might take that one to StitchCon, I'm not sure. Sorry for the crinkle. One other thing I'd like to share is my dear stitchy friend that I mentioned, Anne. For our guild, we have to have name tags. So she stitched the name, and then I laced the back, but then I made a pocket lanyard for it. So I can swap it out, but it tucks right in there. And then I put my little Spectrum Farms Needleworks logo on the back. So I like the ability to swap it out. I haven't made another name tag, but, you know, if I wanted to change it seasonally, I could. One other haul that I'll show you about that I cannot believe that I purchased is, drum roll please, Charlotte Warrington. Yep, I bought the BAP. I bought the big, awesome project. Brenda from Brenda and the Serial Starter, she has shown hers. She has the project bag, which I also ordered, but it hasn't arrived yet. But I have everything still in the kit. And I haven't started it yet, one, because I know it's huge, but secondly is I'm not sure if I want to use this linen. It's a Mason linen. It says medium light, but for me, it looks very dark. It looks kind of lighter. It's not showing up very well, but it's actually really kind of dark. It almost looks like a dark mustard. So I don't know if I'm going to use that linen or not. But I have that. Yep. I gave in and bought that. And then I wanted to show you something that was gifted to me. And I apologize, you're going to hear some tissue wrinkling. Part of our guild meeting, we, in our gift exchange, blown away that I got this. It's a Scarlet House pattern, but I don't know the name. But this is what I got. Here is the scissor fob. And this is so tiny and beautiful. There's the back. And like, as a new stitcher, what a year I have had. Here's the little tiny matching strawberry. Very tiny. And then here it is. Isn't that beautiful? So that stays in my china cabinet. So I think that's all the cross stitch I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to show any other quilting tonight. But there is one thing I'd like to share. If you're interested, please stay so I can show you. Last year, I went to Hobby House up before they moved up in Pittsford. My nephew was getting married in Providence, Rhode Island. So I thought, well, it's in the neighborhood. I'll just drive up there. So I went to Hobby House. And then after I went to Hobby House, I drove to Vermont to visit the Southern Vermont Art Center. There was an exhibit there, an embroidery exhibit by Sally Mavor. And Sally Mavor, if you don't know who she is, she did the artwork for this book, The Way Home. And she is an embroiderer illustrationist. So she makes by hand all of the illustrations, and they can take months. She published We Folk, to where you can try and make some of her designs yourself. She has her newest book called My Bed that she did. And this is absolutely, it was just gorgeous to see in person. She makes all of the characters. She does all of the embroidery work. And then she sews them to the back so they can be upright to be photographed. It was such an honor. But I got her a project book. Oh, she also did a pocket full of posies, which is nursery rhymes. Her embroidery work is stunning. So you can look her up on social media. She also did You and Me. So in the one book, The Felt We Folk, she has instructions on, how to make some of her characters. So I tried. So this is my attempt, and she's not finished, but she's a good start for my own little fairy. And then I did her little feet. And then her dress is a silk flower. And then her wings are leaves. I tried embroidering her little jacket. She still needs a face. And then her hat, I found at Hobby Lobby, but it was more for a garden thing, and it was supposed to hang this way, but I thought it looked like a little winter hat. So I was kind of proud of myself for that, stepping out of the box. So that is Sally Mavor. So I think that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me this far. I hope to do, and I plan on doing, another FlossTube. I'll be a little bit more organized next time. I would like to say thank you to Pam and Steph for Just Keep Stitching, Liz, the Wandering Stitcher, Brenda and Laura from Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brendan and Karen, Fox and Rabbit. Oh my gosh, Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. I've also been inspired by Crisscross Stitch. If you haven't seen his videos or any of theirs, please go visit them. And there's so many more, but I'm keeping notes. My next one, I'll be a little bit better with who I'd like to thank and tell you a little bit more about their videos. And I'll show you more. I have, oh my goodness, I have so much more to share. But thank you so much for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye.